TeamStrub Day 40. Good morning from beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. I am here at New Avenues for Youth with Jessica. Jess, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
I'm Jessica Elkin. I am here with you at New Avenues for Youth. We are a homeless youth agency in downtown Portland. I am the Director of Development, so I help raise the funds and resources necessary to fulfill the mission of this organization. And I just celebrated my 6th anniversary last week, so I hope I can give you an informative interview and conversation today.
Great. So why don't you tell us what New Avenues for Youth is all about?
So New Avenues was founded in 1997 by a group of concerned community leaders who saw homeless youth growing up in downtown Portland. And they believed that these young people were really resilient and had a huge amount of potential. But the services at the time were very basic relief, food, respite from the streets, but the services were not really helping young people reach their potential and give them the skills they needed to actually exit street life. So these community leaders raised money, gathered their own private resources, traveled around the United States visiting 15 different locations. They landed in San Francisco at Larkin Street Youth Programs, and that really became the blueprint for New Avenues, which is an organization that on the front end is very engagement focused, trying to get as many homeless youth coming in our doors, getting their basic relief and safety needs met, but on the back end, building those skills, career education, and self-sufficiency services. So really making sure that youth have the tools they need to exit street life and launch into a happy, healthy adult life.
Okay, so let's segue from that to the different partitions here within the building. So there's a number of different areas of focus. Why don't you touch on those?
Well, today you were just 15 minutes ago serving breakfast in our day services drop-in center, which really is the front door of New Avenues for Youth. Youth can get 3 meals a day, showers, hygiene, but more importantly, the youth are connecting with those supportive adult staff members who are going to start helping those youth address what their barriers are and what they need in order to become self-sufficient and exit street life. So New Avenues really is broken into 3 main programs, or 3 main program areas: basic relief and safety services, so that is engagement programming, the day services center, and an artist mentorship program where youth can come off the streets and partake in music and art as a way to engage and start, that healing process. We have career and education programs, so we have a fully accredited school, and then we also have a really robust job training program that we're sitting in right now that helps youth prepare for the workforce and career. And then we also own and operate 3 of our own social purpose enterprises. 2 Ben & Jerry's ice cream shops, I'm sure you've heard of Ben & Jerry's. And we also own and operate a screen printing business where youth can learn the manufacturing side and sales that goes into running and owning and operating a screen printing business. In addition to those services, we have self-sufficiency services ranging from site-based transitional housing programs, apartments out in the community that we help provide case management to, drug and alcohol counseling, and we also have prevention programming that is focused on youth who are transitioning out of the foster care system. And within the last 2 months, New Avenues made a big announcement. We became the permanent home for an organization called SMIRC, the Sexual Minority Gender Youth Resource Center. And it is our first culturally specific program focused on LGBT youth. And 40% of the youth we serve identify as LGBT.
Hundreds of youths come through the doors every day. So talk about the totality. I mean, how many youths do you guys work with overall, maybe on a monthly or an annual basis?
This year we will serve a record 1,300 youth, and like I said, about 300 of those are youth that we're serving through our prevention programs. But on average, we serve about 900 to 1,000 youth a year. The majority of those being street entrenched homeless youth. We also serve through our job training program youth that are more at risk of homelessness, and are more precariously housed. So these are young people who are couch surfing, staying with family members, and we believe that through building their job skills and their education opportunities, that we can prevent those youth that are precariously housed also from becoming homeless. So, 1,300 youth, and we've once again, it's a big responsibility. Yet, New Avenue's comprehensive array of programs and services that I've touched on really help meet all of the unique needs of our population under one organization, rather than youth having to get different needs met at different organizations, which just adds an additional barrier for young people.
Great. So the complexity of the organization, the different programs, means that there must be a lot of advanced analytics going on. So how do you track, say, the growth or the arc of an individual who enters the program? I noticed this morning downstairs, you're basically taking attendance when someone walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the staff seems to know everybody, which is another point we could touch on, but how do you keep track of an individual's progress through the different programs?
So New Avenues, when we were founded 18 years ago, we were founded as an outcome-based organization, and the idea is we want to make sure that there is evaluation and there's quality assurance with our programs. And today we're measuring about 700 performance outcomes. And in many ways, it's a nonprofit, it's a social service nonprofit, it's a helping, it's a helping community here at New Avenues, but we have a very business practice in that we want to make sure that where we're investing funds in programs, there is that return on investment. And so those 700 performance outcomes really are tracking how our programs are meeting the needs of the youth, and at any moment, if those outcomes are not meeting the expectations, we can look and we can readjust, because the idea is we don't want to just invest in programs that don't help youth exit street life. That's a waste of our time, and it's not really fully helping the youth do what they need to do. So we have a very robust quality assurance program. We have staff that run a very highly customized database that is especially for New Avenues programs. And I think what it does is it really helps us figure out, both on an individualized basis as well as an overall program scope, how we are doing as an organization in helping end youth homelessness in Portland.
And homelessness in Portland, let's move right on to that. So the city itself, I love this city, I gotta be honest.
Me too.
You said you grew up near this area. Mm-hmm. Does homelessness seem like a particularly bad problem in Portland? Do you see that, you mentioned that homeless youths seem to gravitate towards here for a number of different reasons, maybe being on the I-5 corridor, or talk about the specificity of the issue in this city.
There are many different reasons why youth come to New Avenues. What we have found is that out of the youth we serve, the majority of them do have a connection to Oregon. We do not have that many major cities in the state of Oregon, so Portland really is a hub of resources. And for youth, especially those from rural areas of the state, coming to Portland is a natural in order to get their needs met, especially for LGBT youth who are looking for a more urban environment where they're going to be more accepted, feel safer, rather than the smaller communities. Once you leave the I-5 corridor, it's very rural, very rugged parts of the state. And while there are many great organizations throughout the state helping where they can, I definitely think that Portland has more resources.
Sure. Talk about the role of volunteers. How do volunteers help your organization keep moving on a day-to-day basis?
So New Avenues is very fortunate that we have an incredible board of directors, and I mentioned those founders 18 years ago who really wanted to see new services brought to this community. And some of those founders are still involved today and volunteer on the board of directors. We also are really investing in that next generation of young leaders, and we have a very robust ambassador board that is comprised of 20 and 30 somethings that raise funds, raise awareness, and then volunteer their time directly with the youth. This morning you served an Empower meal. This year we've had 400 different people come in and serve a meal in our day services drop-in center, and that includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's a transformative experience for a lot of people who may have misconceptions about homeless youth or feel intimidated by homeless youth, and they come in and they realize, wow, these are just like, my children, these are just like my neighbor's children. The only difference is these youth need help, and they need that supportive environment where they can really flourish and be nurtured. We also have volunteers who come in and do mentoring with youth, tutoring in our school. Mock interviews are a really fun way for people to get connected, but volunteers really plug in at every facet of the organization, but it's that meal service that we are able to bring in the most amount of people and just have that touch point. And there's nothing better than sharing a meal with another human.
What's the best way for people to learn more information about New Avenues and get involved?
Well, like any organization in 2015, Facebook is a great way to see what's happening on a regular basis. We have a website, www.newavenues.org. We have wonderful events in the community that are, very accessible. Our ambassador board runs one of the largest rare beer auctions in the country, and that's coming up in September. We have a signature comedy event that is in October. We're bringing Dana Carvey. There's a lot of different ways for people to connect with the issue of youth homelessness. And like I said earlier, we really believe that we have the community, we have the desire in Portland to really be a leader in this issue. We have been a leader, and we believe we can really end youth homelessness here, and we're going to continue to expand those prevention programs and provide the most meaningful, comprehensive services for those young people already experiencing homelessness.
All right, now last question for my national audience here. The public perception of the city of Portland is based a lot on a popular television show. Can you dispel that notion, or would you like to concur with the notion that Portlandia is an accurate representation?
That's a really good question. So growing up here, most people who do not live here think it's really funny, but if you live here, it's normal. So it's there's something to be said where you're like, well, that's not that funny. That's just a normal thing that happens. But no, I think it has brought a lot of wonderful exposure to Portland. But there's no surprises for those of us who are from here. And then of course, I would much rather be watching the Portland Trailblazers or the Oregon Ducks. So.
Gotcha. Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
Yeah,
Very nice to meet you. And check out their Facebook page. This is a wonderful, wonderful place. We'll have some more pictures and stuff up on my social media. And of course, feel free to learn much more on theirs. So.